People like me, I was born in a very poor family. I never got a great education. I failed all the examinations. For what reason, I don't know. But later, I realized I don't have money, I don't have technology, I don't have a lot of good backgrounds. We have a rich uncle or something, no. The only thing I competed with my people, the young people, is let's compete for 10 years later. This is what I believe 10 years later will be happening. So everything I do for that goal, I know 10 years later, this thing is going to happen. So prepare for that. Because I know if I compete with him for next month, no chance.
It's difficult for me to come up with advice for you who have already set upon your life's work, but I can tell you some of the things I tell my own children. First, whatever you do, don't go to Tisch School of the Arts. Get an accounting degree instead. Then I contradict myself. And as corny as it sounds, I tell them don't be afraid to fail. I urge them to take chances, to keep an open mind, to welcome new experiences and new ideas. I tell them that if you don't go, you'll never know. You have to have have to be bold and go out there and take your chances.
Being an actor is the first thing that I remember wanting to do in life. I remember at 14, 15 years old, watching some classic films, spending months and months watching all the great classics, all the great performers of the past, and being so incredibly inspired by them and saying to myself, one day I want to come close to doing something that good. So I think that thirst or that drive to just achieve what I believe is something as good as, those heroes that I have is what continues to make me want to do this.
Stay health-oriented. Think about your health most of the time. Think about eating less food and better food. Think about daily exercise. Think about getting lots of rest. Remember, to be successful in our competitive world, you need a lot of energy. To have a lot of energy, you've got to eat good foods, get lots of rest, and exercise all the time.
When I look around, I always learn something, and that is to be always yourself and to express yourself, to have faith in yourself. Do not go out and look for a successful personality and duplicate him. Now, that seems to me that is the prevalent thing happening in Hong Kong. Like they always copy mannerisms, but they never start from the very root of his being, and that is, how can I be me?
Some people see the thing that they want, and some people see the thing that prevents them from getting the thing that they want. You will be told your whole life that you need to learn to listen. I would say that you need to learn to be the last to speak. The skill to hold your opinions to yourself until everyone has spoken does two things. One, it gives everybody else the feeling that they have been heard. It gives everyone else the ability to feel that they have contributed. And two, you get the benefit of hearing what everybody else has to think before you render your opinion.
If there was one concept that I would suggest to people to take a daily confrontation with, is fear. The problem with fear is that it lies.
So no matter how late at night you go, before you wrap up, just take 4 minutes and really think through everything that you have to get done for the next day. So here's how I usually do it. First thing I do is I open up my calendar and I take a look at all the appointments that I have for the next day and the time that those appointments will take. Then I write down all the projects and the tasks that I need to get done, and I give myself a little bit of an estimate about how long I think each project or task will take. Of course, these are estimates. Sometimes I get things done faster, and sometimes they take longer, but at least I give myself a baseline to work off of.
When you go to sleep at night, think about your goals for the coming day. Make a list for each day of all the goals, the little goals you're going to accomplish that day. Keep a journal and write down your goals on a regular basis. When you're driving through the day, think about your goals. When you're talking to other people, think about your goals. You see, you do become what you think about most of the time. You do achieve what you think about most of the time, So all successful people and all wealthy people think about their goals most of the time.
All ideas don't work unless you do the work. And some of the best work you can do is getting really good at creating a one-page plan. Have your big five, the 5 things that need to happen this year for this to be your best year yet on a one-page plan. Your top 5 values, put them on that same plan. Your top 5 sub-goals sequenced into each quarter of this year on that one-page plan.
Use a planner or a diary, just as useful as using a calendar, but I find that this one's a bit more specific, especially if you have specific appointments or specific things that you have to do on a daily basis. It does help just jotting them down in your diary as well as your calendar, and then you can refer to it when you're on the go as well, not just in a place in your house, but you can actually look at it when you're on the way to work, when you're at school, or just before a meeting, or maybe you just want to refer to it just anytime during the day. So it is worth having a planner or a diary.
You must come up with a morning routine that you do every single morning, or at least more mornings than not, that puts you in control of yourself and in control of your day. This is what I do, and I cannot explain the power that I get from starting my day off and being bigger than my excuses and being in control.
The number one lesson I could offer you where your work is concerned is this: become so skilled, so vigilant, so flat out fantastic at what you do that your talent cannot be dismissed. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You're only on this planet to be you, not someone else's imitation of you.
You cannot invent and pioneer if you cannot accept failure. To invent, you need to experiment. And if you know in advance that it's going to work, it is not an experiment. And so that's a very important thing. They are inseparable twins, failure and invention. And so you have to be willing to do that. And it's embarrassing to fail. It's always embarrassing to fail. But you have to say, no, that's not how this works. If I said to you, you have a 10% chance with a particular decision, a 10% chance of a 100x return, you should take that bet every time. But you're still going to be wrong 9 out of 10 times. And it's going to feel bad 9 out of 10 times. And with technology, the outcomes, the results can be very long-tailed. The payoff can be very asymmetric, which is why you should do so much experimentation.
I always wanted to win the World Cup. That was the reason I started. And as the time went by, I started enjoying cricket, and I started realizing the challenges of cricket. And my coach was instrumental, and along with my brother, to my elder brother Ajit, to make me realize the importance of leading a disciplined life, a focused life, and to make me push harder. They found reasons, and even towards the end of my career, I followed that formula. If I scored runs, let the rest of the world talk about it. I think about the next game.
And I mean, personally, I always try to listen, because maybe I'm not getting something. I always try and take everybody's, because it's important to listen to everyone, as many people as you can, and get their input. But then finally, you have to make your own decision about what you're going to do, and that's it. That's what you feel, and that's it. And that's the most important thing. I think the most important thing, because that's where the uniqueness comes in, because it's you've done it, it's your thing. It's not anybody else's, it's your choice.
What I think you should do when something goes badly wrong is you just keep going. You do something else, and you don't dwell on the past.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.